Have you ever wondered which game engine do I use? Godot, Unity, Unreal Engine? I don't know. Well, in today's video, we're going to be helping you fix that problem. We're going to help you choose. So my first thought is you should choose Godot and nothing else. Godot is the best game engine in the world. But me and JTA Games are going to be kind of picking and choosing some things that we think are good and bad in our game engines. So hopefully you guys can sit back and enjoy this video. We're both going to be explaining our processes of making our game. So enjoy. All right, so this is our asset pack. We're going to be using this to, let me show the second one. We have 2 asset packs and we are going to be making this game because JTA Games, this is him, he has challenged me to a friendly competition to compare Unity and Godot. So
Unity superiority.
well, that's what he says now, but you know, I guess we'll see. So yeah, that's the point of this video. I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get right into it. Okay, so when I kind of thought about my idea for my game, originally I kind of wanted to scam the system and do kind of a open world type game, but then he was like, "Oh, we got to do platformer," and funnily enough, he actually ended up doing what I thought I was originally going to do, and I was the only one who did a platformer. But either way, yeah, I ended up doing a platformer, and my initial thought was, okay, I'm going to do horror. So hopefully you guys kind of saw the horror in that game. And so I put some creepy music that I found online through an open site that is really free. I think the link will be down below if you guys want to see. So I put some creepy music, and I was able to use Godot's systems. So implementing the platformer game itself was really simple. I was also able to do the background relatively quick. There's parallax backgrounds built into Godot, which I actually have tutorials on, so go check that out if you want. So doing the background was relatively quick, took like an hour or 2. Adding the lighting effect also took pretty short. The lighting in Godot is pretty simple, once you get used to it at least. I was using Godot 4 here, so you can kind of see me struggling a little bit to figure it out, but eventually I got it within about an hour. And then after that, I just had to kind of think about the mechanics of the actual game. And so initially I thought I would do kind of a endless world kind of thing where you would constantly be going from stage 1 to stage 2, etc., like endlessly. I probably could convert my game to that right now, but in the end I ended up not doing that because I got lazy and I didn't really feel like putting that much work into it. But I did end up just doing 2 stages. So the first stage is kind of me just shitting on Unity. There's a bunch of NPC texts that are just talking to the player. So you interact with the player or with the NPC, and the NPC will just talk to you and be like, "Yeah, Unity sucks, fuck you." But yeah, that was it for stage 1, and then stage 2 was the actual gameplay. I decided to kind of fuck with the player a little bit by changing the regular mechanic of shooting. So usually when a player on a platformer looks like that and you shoot, usually it's not angled towards the camera. It's usually just a straight shot. And so I thought I'd fuck with the player, in this case, JTA Games, and you know, make it so that it goes towards the camera and just confuse the shit out of him. So now it's a lot harder to shoot straight and shoot at the actual enemies. I might change that if I ever do work on this game again, but definitely that's not a fun gameplay. It was just meant to kind of troll him. And so yeah, you can jump, dash. The dash is terrible. I tried to implement the dash properly, but it was very hard because these sprites didn't really work properly with it. So I ended up just kind of playing around with it and implementing it, even though it's not really good. Like, you try to use it in a game or as you're fighting the monsters, I probably wouldn't recommend it. It probably will be a debuff to you. But yeah, other than that, I don't know. This entire process was pretty fun. I got to showcase quite a bit of stuff that Godot is good at. At the end of the day, I think Godot is really good at 2D. Once you kind of gain experience in it, it's really easy to pick up. I have about 2-3 years experience in Godot, and it's just a lot easier to do these things because the experience is there and it's really easy to pick up. And I just know all the things that Godot has, and so it's a lot easier to do these things. But at the end of the day, I had a lot of fun doing this. I hope to do something like this again. And thanks, guys. Thanks for watching my little game dev thing here. So I'll see you guys next time.
All right, this is my reaction to JTA's game. I've played this game a few times, but I'm going to run through it again just so I can kind of have a fresh mic on it and all that stuff. Okay, so I can hit punch and everything, and I killed it, and I can go heal, I guess. And then, I think one thing I don't like is the fact that I have to pick the target every time. I wish it was slightly different, but that's okay. And then I think I can increase like strength and everything, which is kind of cool. I remember it being really buggy too. Like, holy shit. I just got one shot. What the? I don't know. I just remember it being kind of buggy, but that's okay. 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 I don't know. It's a pretty interesting game. It's a cool turn-based idea, I would say. Here's the bug. And then there's no way to get out of this. So that's kind of my reaction. I will say the game is filled with a lot of bugs still, obviously. Overall, obviously, there's no art. Not that we agreed. Not with the art that we agreed with anyways. It's a good start to the base of the game. I think it's nice because you get to see what Unity is capable of. I think if there was like a scene transition into like an actual Pokemon thing, this would be a little cooler. But I won't like be too hard on JTA just because I know he's not too experienced with 2D stuff. So, but overall, it's not bad. Like it's a pretty good 2D game that he made with Unity, considering. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
So going more into how I put this all together, I decided, you would have your character, and this is after I gave up on trying to make a 2D platformer because it was too hard for me to make the controller from scratch. But anyway, you'd move around and you could get through this door, but you need at least to be level 5 or whatever. So you go here, get a punch, and then you go and you just beat up this wizard. And yeah, 1. Heal up from the doctor. I think escape. And then you can get your stats. You have a bag that doesn't work. Options doesn't work. I don't even think quit works. Resume does though. And then stats. And then I have these stats here. So this is pretty cool to make. If you look at the player character, which is right here, you see the movement, and then you see the player script interacts with the character script. That way, each of these guys could have a character script, all the enemies and stuff, but the player characters would be different because it would interact with the UI and whatnot. And then I have my leveling system and stuff that you barely even get to see. But if I return and resume, I'm trying to wait for this guy to show up. Let's see. I don't think this works right now. Oh, it does work. That's good. So I hit him. Come on, Billy. There you go. So I killed Billy. And now it just switches. I don't know if you guys noticed, but the switching part actually was really difficult. Let's go to our battle manager. But in order to check, what would happen is you go up and pick target player, take turn, where is it? Start battle. So whenever you interact with a character, this also used a weird version of my interaction tutorial. So they would have this, they'd be set up as interactable. And then what would happen is you would character.battle. So if you like a character, the character script would get the battle manager, the instance of the battle manager, and it would begin the battle. And it would do all these like complicated, annoying things. You can see why it took forever. It would turn on the canvas, get stuff ready, and then go through the players. It would check if the player's defeated. It would then tell you, like, go see the doctor. And then it would check to make sure you had moves and stuff. So I did all these checks and stuff. And again, this was all set up after the competition was already over. So if you look at the setup player battle buttons, it would go through each of the actions and then would create a new button. This was a pain to set up. And then take turns. So this was important because it would check for the action targets and then it would perform action. And it would just go back and forth. And when you perform the action, it would check your accuracy to see if you're gonna miss or not. It would notify, like, there's just so many things that I didn't think about that went into this. And it was pretty crazy. This will all be available for you to look at and stuff. Sorry it's so poorly documented. On my Patreon if you decide you want to be a patron. But yeah, if you want a battle system that barely works, but you can attack more than one person, here you go. That was kind of it going into everything. But you'll see, go see the doctor going, because I lost. You've been healed. Punch, 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 punch. Level 4. Let me upgrade my... Actually, I'm not going to upgrade my stats. I'm pretty sure something's wrong with upgrading stats. Now I beat him. Now I'm level 8. So now I can go through the door. Woohoo! So that was my overall experience. This is all I was able to do. I didn't even get to put in the sci-fi stuff. That was my experience.
So I challenged Game Dev Simplified to a competition in which I was not prepared for, to be totally honest. I decided to do the easy thing for my game, and that was make Pokemon. Because like, it was a Game Boy game, so maybe it wouldn't be too difficult. Turns out making a turn-based thing when you've never done it before is actually a lot harder than you would think. By the time the competition wrapped up, all you could do in my game was move around. The bones to the system were already in place, but it hadn't worked yet, and I just wasn't finished. I was still like in research mode, trying to cram in as much as possible. So when Game Dev Simplified picked my game, it was literally a walking square. So there was that. After the game jam though, I eventually did have a working game with a turn-based system that was a lot of fun. You can battle 1, 2, 3, or 4 people at the same time. And then you can click moves and stuff and use them. I think I only put in like punch and kick or something like that. So yeah, I had a finished game after the fact and a new tutorial for a notification handler. But what did I learn in the process? Which game engine was better? Honestly, if you want a quick and easy way to learn how to make 2D games, Godot is probably better. I know that might upset all the Unity fans out there, but like just for speed, it's better to develop with, unless you just use an asset from the Unity asset store, which is totally viable. I don't know why people hate on using assets so much and just die on a hill of everything must be made from scratch. But that's the truth. Unity has always been kind of an in-between engine. Like, you can get just as good at games as you can pull out of Godot, and just as good at games as you can pull out of Unreal. But it takes a little more effort to do either in Unity, and I will always use Unity. It's my favorite. I like being in between. I like being able to make high-quality 3D games, and the possibility of making high-quality 2D games that I obviously, judging by this competition, have spent not enough time doing. But what else did I learn in the competition? That I suck at making 2D games.
I think I got the setup. I'm finally going to test out Game Dev Simplified's game, and let's see how terrible Godot is. I don't know why these lights just randomly turned on, but there we go. Pretty cool transition. Stupid. I didn't even think of trash talking Godot in my game. I should have. Hi there, welcome to my world. If your name is JTA, then good luck. If your name is JTA, then good luck. If it is, then good luck. Now get out of here. I think one of these is supposed to be isn't. This NPC took like 30 minutes to using Godot's amazing transforming stuff. The text and all that stuff is all adjustable. Making a trigger box with a word pop-up would take like 5 seconds in Unity. Use try clicking P. I feel like that doesn't do anything. Button is reload. Freaking. I feel like Q doesn't do anything either. What? Oh, it's teleports. That's how it dashes and teleports. R might do something too. You can also shoot with your mouse. R. Okay, R is reload as well. Level 2. Good work, you complete this level. Would you like to go on to the next level? Yeah. Pretty cool. Oh. Oh, damn it. I mean, darn it. Frick, frick, frick. It's the same as the NPC guys. Ah! Ah! Well, I died instantly. Okay. Oh, I'm already, okay. Run away, run away, run away, run away. These weapons, I need stronger guns. Freaking Z. Oh. Can I recharge my health? This is really hard. Or I'm just bad at video games. Either one would not surprise me. No, no, no. Oh, no. I also have no point of reference where. Okay, so I'm just in a box. Leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone. No, no, no. What the hell? I'm just gonna. Reload, reload, reload. I demand stronger bullets. Ah! And bigger hitboxes for the enemies. Oh, okay. I think that is it to this game. It was made shop. Pretty cool treasures. Every time. Okay, I have 100 gold. Increase max HP. Oh, there you go. What? You need more gold, you idiot. You're an idiot. Okay. Maybe I can live now. Yeah, that's right. I have more health now. Stupid. Yeah. I can't move while reloading. Can I go to the shop again? Never mind, I'm just gonna play again. Do. Oh, am I hiding? What the heck? Am I trying to kill these guys or just stun them? Also, try again leads to the main menu, not the playing thing again, so. Constructive criticism, that's wrong. 10 gold. Okay, I want more health. It says +7. Cost 100. Oh, got it.
Okay, so what do you think was like Unity's highlight? Like, why would you say Unity is better than Godot in the sense of 2D? So we did 2D games. Where would Unity shine?
Ironically, I think that the thing that makes Unity, man, I know I said Unity was better, but I don't want to say better, but what gives Unity an advantage in some areas is that you can do 2.5D.
Oh yeah.
Like, you can use 3D stuff for your 2D game really simply. Like, if you want actual lights shining on your sprites and stuff like that, like, Unity has a bunch of stuff for that. And I didn't get too much into my game, but I just like the flexibility that Unity has between using different things. but it's kind of hard to say because obviously I do not use 2D enough. So that was where I feel Unity is like pretty strong, is being able to like mesh things together.
Yeah, okay.
Where do you say Godot was better in 2D?
Well, okay, I will say, first of all, to the audience, to be fair, I am a bit more experienced in 2D. And if we were to switch roles and I were to do 3D and JTA were to do 3D, I would probably have been crushed. But I will say, in general, I feel like Godot's learning curve is a lot faster and easier. So it kind of goes compared to Unity, whereas doing something very simple like a physics system or just making a platformer, the steps are a lot harder. So like one step for me for making, as you guys saw, for the platformer was like one line of code or like 2 steps. It was like 1 or 2 steps. Whereas Unity, you would have to kind of do like 5, 6 steps and import, and it's just a very big hassle. So I feel like Godot is a lot more beginner friendly. I will say that. That's the first thing. But also the complexity is still there, but the learning curve to get to that complexity is a lot easier. Whereas Unity kind of makes it a bit harder. Because also keep in mind, sorry, yeah, go ahead.
I'll just like quickly clarify that Unity's learning curve isn't that bad, but when it comes to 2D specifically, like I know a bunch of people that like use Unity a lot will be like, no, it's super easy if you do this or whatever. But for me personally, when I was trying to get into this, without just dragging and dropping in like a free asset that had everything pre-built for me because I had a specific idea that I wanted to do, without doing that, the learning curve was kind of ridiculous for 2D stuff. Like 3D has always been like I can like drag and drop and just go for it. But I've been using Unity for like 5 years, and I had a hard time with the tile map, which I've used before. I had a hard time with like getting just a simple platformer controller, which obviously like what's it called? Hollow Knight was made in Unity, so it should have been. I expected it to be easier than it was, and I thought I would like have a chance, or at least have a finished game. So I will say like the curve is way harder for 2D specifically. I don't think it's that bad for 3D stuff.
Okay, that's
It's
a good
also-
point.
yeah.
I will
Yeah.
say, as a last note, just do keep in mind for the audience out there who don't know this, Unity is a company, like they're an actual company. Whereas Godot, they're a company, but not really. So it's an open source engine, and what does open source mean? Well, it just means that anyone can kind of download it and not only do whatever they want, they can make changes themselves. So like, if you as a Godot user, you're like, I want this feature. Well, okay, you can do it. You can make that feature and just push it to Godot. Whereas Unity, you can't really do that, right? It's owned by a company. You can't just change the engine. That doesn't make sense. Well, so
They
do keep
gotta
that in
keep
mind.
their business.
Yeah, so Godot is built on you guys. It's built on the community and who we have using it. So that is something I'll consider that an advantage, just because there are some things that kind of get implemented into Godot a lot faster, or they're more current, whereas Unity might not do that just because they are still a company, right? So they kind of think more about the finances and stuff like that. But that's just my opinion at the end.
Some things might get imported into Unity faster, but like he was saying, it's not going to be the things that you want. It's going to be the things that are best for a company. Like Unity will update its monetization features in a day. They'll update their multiplayer stuff in a day. Like it took them a long time to get their newest multiplayer stuff out, but they're working on it and making it super robust. Whereas like other small features that Godot would have implemented like that will take Unity forever, because like if it's not going to make the money, then they have to really think about like, is this worth it? And a lot of times
Do we
they're much
really
better
want to? Yeah.
yeah, they're nicer companies, so they do keep the opinions of the people in mind a lot more than other companies will, which is why I like Unity. But it's not as fast as open source stuff.
Yeah,
in that regard.
so hopefully I hope you guys kind of enjoyed this little fun thing that we did. Hopefully you guys kind of make your own decision on which one you would want to use. If you don't do game dev at all, and this is your first video watching it, do definitely take into consideration these things that we talked about. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy that, and that's it for me. Do you have anything else to say as last notes?
Yeah, we talked about at the beginning of this, just like last thing, like we talked about, like, we're just kind of trashing on each other, like Unity's better and Godot is better. But at the end of the day, there's actually a lot more engines out there than just Unity, Godot, and Unreal. There's like 20 something that I've found that like seem interesting. So the best game engine is honestly the one that you're most interested and the one that you're going to use the most. So it's just up to you. There's like, obviously, if you're going to do only 2D games, and Godot is implementing more 3D stuff, but if you're going to use only 2D games and you want that kind of workflow, then Godot's the way to go. If you're like me, where I envision myself bouncing between like 2D and 3D, then for me, Unity is the way to go. And then like, you know, you got Unreal and you have all this stuff out there. Even Blender, like the 3D modeling software, has their own game engine that I'm interested in. So you can talk about how it doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
Ooh.
So yeah.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Okay. Yeah, to kind of build on that, yeah, I don't know. Just, I would say personally, if I were to re-choose like an engine, just go do your research. Like, go look on YouTube. Look at like the amount of tutorials there are on a specific engine, like a Unity tutorial. There's like 50,000 or whatever, right? Maybe there's a new engine that just released. It might not be the best thing to do, just because one, the documentation might not be out there yet. There's probably no tutorials on it yet, right? So definitely take those things into consideration as you're choosing an engine. So yeah, hopefully you guys learned how to choose an engine. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. And yeah, that's it for me.
Take it easy.
Yeah. See you guys.
That.